In this episode, I'm joined by one of my students, professional organizer Angela Allred. We're going to talk about what it was like being on a retreat with me and several other women this past winter, what all went down at the first ever professional organizers retreat with Pro Organizer Studio, how the retreat had an immediate impact on her business, and what's coming next in our retreat schedule.
You're listening to the Pro Organizer Studio podcast with Jen Obermeyer. Thank you for joining in. Jen makes it her mission to broaden the horizons of savvy businesswomen in the organizing industry by instilling confidence and inspiring authenticity. She is a devoted business coach and founder of the Inspired Organizer program. Each week, you'll gain new insight into strategies designed specifically for professional organizers. And now, let's get started.
Welcome back to the Pro Organizer Studio podcast. I am Jen Obermeyer, and I'm really excited to have a special guest on today. Her name is Angela Allred, and she is a professional organizer in Knoxville, Tennessee. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you, Jen. Thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. So, Angela is a student of mine, and she is has a special place in my heart because she just attended my first ever. She was one of the attendees of my first ever in-person full weekend retreat that was held just in February 2019. And I asked Angela to come on today just so we could sort of relive it up a little bit and chat all about what went down because it was
It was amazing, Jen. I mean, not to just jump in on you, but it was one of the best. I don't want to exaggerate. For me, it was one of the best experiences I've had. I've never been surrounded by all women encouraging me, listening to me, and helping me the way I did that weekend of my life. I can't speak highly enough about it. So you would have to stop me from going on and on. I was on a high for weeks. So, and still when I think about it, I'm on a high. So.
Well, that is certainly above and beyond what I could have even hoped for. So thank you for saying that. I want to talk to our audience a little bit more in detail. About what we did, kind of cover the events, live updates a little bit, actually not live, but Angela was one of the 8 women that were there. And so she drove in to Greenville, South Carolina. So this was held in my hometown. And when Angela came running and jumping into the building when I first met her,
I've been a little excited. Jen, you were like
she was excited.
You were a little superstar status to me because I'd watched all your videos online. So I might have been a little excited. It's possible.
Well, that makes me happy. But also I learned immediately that one of the reasons that Angela was so excited to come to my retreat is because she loves Greenville.
Oh, yes.
Tell me about that.
Yes, that is so true. I said this to you, and I was not exaggerating. I used to travel for a living. I used to be a consultant. I used to travel, and I went to Hawaii and Alaska and all over the U.S. One of my favorite cities in the U.S., really, it was my very favorite until I went to Alaska, Alaska blew my mind. But as far as the continental, the mainland, I did not go to any city that beat Greenville, South Carolina. And it's just the most adorable town. If you've never been, you've got to go. It's got the most beautiful park with this beautiful river flowing right downtown. It's just lovely. I mean, it's just the most adorable downtown and park and river, and it's just adorable. So yes, I love that city. It's wonderful. And I know you've got to love it too, because you never left it after you went to college. So
that's right. I know. Well, it's so funny because I love it here, but I was excited that you drove in, and then we had people come from we had ladies that came from Oregon and from Colorado, and I was hoping just the fact that I was having it in South Carolina would be a little bit of a temptation to like leave the winter dreariness up north, and I was successful in doing that, and lucky that we had one really like nice spring weather day, and then just in general it was just a nice place to be in February where most of the country was in like the polar vortex that weekend.
That's right.
That was nice. So in planning this event, because it was the first one I had ever done, I thought, well, if I invite these women to my hometown, I can really plan it like, the Bachelorette like brings, her guys home on like the hometown date and shows them around to like all her favorite places. And that was what I felt like I was doing.
Yes.
And that made it really cool because at least I was really comfortable and I knew, the cool spots I wanted to take you guys. So what was that like for you, especially since you'd been to Greenville before?
I loved it. It was, like you said, the weather was absolutely beautiful, so that was a bonus. But the town itself, it just has a lot to offer. These wonderful restaurants. You took us to your favorite restaurants, which was awesome. The very first night was, I think it was Thai food we had. Oh, it was amazing. And because you had rented a loft downtown, this was, oh, it was so great. The loft literally in the middle of downtown. Like you
So
walk out in the
good.
street and you're in the middle of downtown, but when you're inside it, you feel like you're in somebody's house basically. I mean, it couldn't have been better to me. So, and I don't think to anyone else either. But yeah, I loved it.
All right, so let's talk about what went down. First night it was social. It was people coming in from all over arrival, and we had our happy hour up on the rooftop. It was 70 degrees. It was amazing. And then, so first night, like Angela said, we went out to eat. It was just everybody getting to spend time together. And then the official day one, our content that morning, I don't want to give away the whole entire experience for like our future attendees, but I want them to kind of know like what was the vibe like and what was
I
this
got
like.
you.
It was not like this stuffy kind of conference where we had, just this rigid schedule and this, boring presentations and a lot of like junky kind of swag bag stuff.
Yeah.
And you know what else we didn't do? We did not have to do any of these like awkward
Right.
like get to know
No.
you games. You know why? Because we had the awesome like whole night before for that casual
Oh, right.
feel, and so that everybody felt like they already knew each other when we were really digging in to the retreat portion the next day.
Well, what was interesting about your thing without revealing too much is you're saying we really got to know each other really well without any of those games. It was really neat what you did, and I loved it. Honestly, I would love to do that again. And there was nothing boring that happened, and everything that happened, I learned from it, which was interesting because I'm a little bit picky about. I've taken a lot of adult learning, like how do you teach adults and how to make classes interesting, and that instructor development type courses because I've been a trainer for a living, and I've never done anything like what you did, but I loved it and it worked. I think it worked perfectly. So I know you had gotten advice from others and you had sought other people's help and input, and that was really smart because what you ended up with was, again, it was perfect for me. It was, and the reaction from everybody else, we grew so close so quickly. I just loved it. So yeah, you didn't need the get to know you games. We got
Right.
to know each other.
Right.
And I still feel very close to everybody that was there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Me too.
I mean, I think you do too. I mean, much closer than you would otherwise if
Yeah.
you hadn't done it the way you did it.
So basically, instead of me teaching, big blocks of content, which I kind of had originally planned, I kind of originally planned to talk about productivity and really apply it for ourselves and our own businesses as opposed to, working with clients, because I think that for professional organizers that everyone assumes like, well, we just have it together all the time already, and then we don't have problems with distractions or obstacles. And so I originally, the name of our retreat, this time around at least, was called Productive AF. And for those of you who don't know, AF is that euphemism for productive as you know what. And it was, but not because we ended up sitting around talking about productivity tips and planning and systems and that kind of thing. We my decision, and this was sort of last minute, was that each attendee, because it was a smaller group and we were able to do this, was able to have the content focus on her for a portion of our time together. And so this is, what Angela is getting at with each person really getting to know everyone else and to be known by everyone else, and have it, customized to her. So Angela, you absolutely, and I would love for you to share what it was like to sort of be in that hot seat for your time during the retreat, and what came out of that.
I loved it. I wouldn't want anybody to feel self-conscious. This was the most nurturing, supportive environment. I know some people have, like you said, it's a hot seat, but I wouldn't want anybody to get the feeling that at any point there was anything but absolute acceptance and encouragement. But for me, it was a wonderful experience. I got an opportunity to tell the ladies a little about my background, what brought me to the point of organizing, and then where I would like to see myself go from there, or just get their input on where I should go from here. And for me, I've had quite a bit of different careers, and I've done some unique things in my life that led them to give me particular advice about my business that I loved, that I had never even considered before. In particular, for me, it was I had gotten rid of everything that I owned 3 different times in my life, to take adventuresome trips, and another time to hit the road and do stand-up comedy with my husband and that kind of thing. And my love for organizing came from just realizing that you really truly only need to keep the things around you that you really need, and everything else is just weight in your life, and it's keeping you from having a lot of fun. And so you guys encouraged me to sort of go a minimalist route and advertise my services as minimalism, and to help people do things that I had never thought about, like helping people downsize into tiny homes and RVs, retired people who want to hit the road and they don't know even how to pack an RV, or just generally someone who wants to live as a minimalist in their life and doesn't know how to get there. And I'm already doing it by helping one of the other ladies in the group who says she wants to be a minimalist. And I've been helping her sort of ongoing at this point, and she's getting rid of things step by step. And I think that I never would have thought about that if I hadn't have talked to you guys about where I came from and where I'm going. So for me, it was monumental in the direction of my business itself. So I loved it. And I think the biggest thing, though, even beyond the thinking about different directions for my business, really honestly for me, is the support, is feeling like I know some other people that are in the trenches that are doing the same thing as me. And what was really one of the things I thought was so interesting was almost none of us had the exact same, none of us were in the exact same place in our business. None of us had the same direction for our business. I mean, one lady was really interested in corporate organizing. Some of them had been in business and were really working it. They, were full-time. Some of us were just starting out, really didn't have like a lot of jobs, some of us are still working full-time, and we're choosing to work full-time and to make this our side gig. It didn't matter, though, that we were all such different people and coming from such different places and had different goals. Everyone was such good listeners and so supportive, and each person had an opportunity to tell their story and get input from everyone else. I learned from everyone else's stories. You think, well, I'm just going to learn when they listen to mine. I learned as much, if not more, from hearing everyone's stories and hearing all the advice that everyone was giving each other. It was just a magical experience. It was like unlike any other conference I'd ever been to. So I really, really appreciated it.
So let's talk about what happened, because the way that I wanted this to go down was that we had, structured group time that was retreat, and then really free time, open time, where, I said, hey, like, if you guys need to be here because you need a break from kids and husband and, work and everything, like, please take a nap, please go to get a massage, go shopping, whatever you got to do. A lot of the women brought their laptop and chose to actually, really take immediate action and get some stuff done that weekend. And that was part of really the magic. And that's why the last day we're all sitting around saying we could have had one more day to like really kind of do like a co-working type of environment, where everybody's together and everybody's getting stuff done. So Angela, you took a big action forward that weekend that you could not have. Like, I remember asking this, like, if you had sat for 3 or 4 days at home and said, I'm going to be productive on my business, would you have ever done what you did that weekend?
Oh, no way. No way.
So tell us what you did do.
Okay, so that was so exciting for me anyway. I mean, I know everybody's at different places in their business, so some people are like, well, that's not a big deal. But for me, it was a big deal. And
Yeah,
everybody was at
absolutely.
their different place and everybody was doing different things and had set different goals and were working on them and getting help from each other, which was, again, also amazing. I mean, the synergy was fantastic. But my goal in particular was I had not made any videos of myself on Facebook or really done much with my Facebook business. And after I had told my story, you guys had really encouraged me to do videos. You said, tell your story on video, do more videos, that you thought that would be really good for me. So I ended up we went to lunch, all of us as a group, and you know, when you're out, you're talking and you're talking about your business, but it's all fun and it's in a low stress environment. So it's one of the first times I worked in my business where it was actually fun to work on my business. I mean, as opposed to, I love doing the work itself of organizing, but I'm not a huge fan of the working on the business part.
Did a margarita help?
Yeah, it helped. I may have had a margarita. That was fantastic. So me and Kate, another lady at the conference, I think it's going to be on a future podcast. I said, you know, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to, you know, set the goal. I'm going to do it while I'm here. And Kate said she'd do one too. And we shook hands that we're both going to do a video. And I said, let's say we're going to do about 6 p.m. today. And I think that was Saturday. And she said, okay, we shook on it. And I got back and I made a deal of being like, I'm going to go do my video right now. I'm going to beat Kate to it. So I go up and there's like this super high up area at this loft, which was also beautiful. It's like a little balcony area. And of course I had to get last minute advice from everybody. I was like, wait, should I write down what I'm going to say? And they're like, no, just go do it. Just go do it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to talk about why I became an organizer. They're like, that's perfect. Just go do it. And I was like, okay, well, I'd never done a Facebook Live video. I just had never done it. So of course I'm looking at the settings and figuring it out. And I went up there and I didn't do any pre-planning. I didn't write anything down. I did what they said. And I just started recording myself with the one topic in mind, which was why I want to be an organizer. And they were so supportive the whole time I'm doing the video. They're watching it downstairs and they're putting little comments like, go girl, love girl, you know, love you girl, you're doing great. And, you know, so of course I'm seeing their comments and I'm responding to them as I'm watching the video, like, hey, you guys, blah, blah, like Jen does, you know, same thing. It's very encouraging to have people watching you do the video. I didn't realize that was fantastic. And so I finished the video. I went downstairs. They all cheered for me. The whole thing was, you guys, you have no, I mean, it was just such a great experience. And so it posted to Facebook. It was perfect. And come to find out, just FYI, Kate has already done tons of videos. Her doing a video was like not a big deal to her. I don't know if she knew it was my first video and this was a big deal to me, but she did not let on, which was perfect, because had I known, I would have been like, oh, well, no big deal. This is not a big deal for you. Like, we're not setting some kind of big goal together. Like, so, but it was perfect because she didn't say that. She didn't lie to me. I had not asked her if it was her first video. I was just making the assumption, which was my fault. But it wasn't my fault because it actually worked out really good. Turns out, Jen knows this.
You did beat her though. You did win.
I did beat her. Yes, I did beat her.
Which is very important.
But she did do her video by 6. Yes, I might be a little competitive, so. So I make up competitions in my head that no one else knows exist, so just so I can have fun. But as it turns out, just that video ended up getting me a $1,200 package client. She told me later when we were doing our sessions that she had looked at all the organizers in town, looked at all their websites, she's one of those people who thoroughly researches everything before she buys them. And she said when I looked at all the materials for all the organizers, and we have some really, really professional organizers in town with some really good websites, professional made videos, like Marie Kondo level videos. And she ended up saying that it was my video on Facebook, the one I did at the retreat, that sold her.
Wow.
If I had not done that, that paid for the retreat. Her one
plus some, yeah.
Oh yeah, plus some, absolutely. Way and above paid for the retreat. It paid for everything I put into my business thus far.
Wow.
That one job sold it, and it was because of that video. I I can, obviously, boom, there you are. That paid for everything. And I had an amazing weekend. So, that was the smartest thing I ever did.
Yeah.
And to think I almost, and I heard a couple girls say this, that they almost kind of like chickened out of going to the retreat. I think we were all a little nervous, like my business isn't successful enough to go to the retreat, or I don't have enough things going on to really contribute, or like, why am I going when, you just have the self-doubts that plague you about anything in life. And I had the same thought, like, should I go? Like, I was like, if anything had happened, if I'd been a little sick, if I had any excuse given to me whatsoever, I probably would have not gone. And that would have been the biggest mistake ever. So, yeah, I mean, maybe not ever, I guess, in life, but it was amazing. So, it was great.
So let's talk more too about what it's like. And maybe this is just particularly important to me because I do feel like I have friends all over the world through Pro Organizer Studio, but we're always on the internet. And this was a new thing for me. I mean, it was a risky, or a new kind of risky feeling step, is like, is this even going to really work well? We'll just try it once and we'll see how it goes. And what I found out, and I feel like this was meaningful to other people too, is that being in person is a whole different ball game than even having Skype and FaceTime with your internet friends. So what was that like for you, Angela, to be in person, not just with me, and you found out I was a normal person and not a celebrity?
I don't know, Jen, you're still a celebrity, but
you're hilarious.
No, it was irreplaceably good. And honestly, that's why I signed up in the first place, was because I thought it would be good. Like, I thought to myself, I need to meet other real life in-person organizers, not my competition, people that are doing this. There was a part of me that knew deep down that I don't know if I needed to just see them in person to know this really exists. This is really a thing,
Yeah.
There are really organizers out there to help encourage me, or what I knew I needed. But I knew I needed to be in person with other organizers. That was why I signed up, was for that. It was not because I thought I was going to gain some in-depth knowledge bestowed to me upon the great Jen, although I was super excited to meet you. It really was because I wanted to be in an environment with other organizers. And so the format you ended up doing was perfect for me, because that is what I wanted to get out of it, was being amongst other organizers and feeding off them and learning from them. And we all helped each other. Like, I talked about the one thing where I ran upstairs and did the Facebook video, but there was also time where we had, with this big open table, where we were brainstorming and helping each other. We had our laptops open. We were working together. People were like, I mean, one girl taught us all about, what was it? She had learned, and she really literally on the spot did an impromptu lesson on
Dubsado.
That's it. That's what it was. And she, but that was like a little side thing that we got together and did a little group thing. Like, the energy and synergy, it was great. It was definitely makes me get my credit card out, because I'm definitely about to put down the $200 for the next one immediately.
Okay, well, we'll come back to that in just a second. There is going to be another one in 2019, and I'm going to announce some details about that in just a moment. But before we go into that, let's revisit a little bit too about what this environment was like, because it was basically like a sorority house kind of deal. It's not like a luxury private vacation where you have your own everything. Like, there was definitely, like, everybody had their own sleeping space and, shared bathrooms, and it was what you would call intimate, right? Like, it was a little bit like grown up camp, like a sleepover for your business.
Awesome. I mean, it was like slumber party in some ways. I mean, you could walk around in your pajamas, which I did. I think in the morning, came down and had my coffee, and I mean, you're with a bunch of girls. You don't have to change or be in something uncomfortable. You can wear sweatpants all day long, but we're still working and team building effort. I mean, it was just fantastic. So yeah, it's like if you imagine going to you rent a cabin with your family and you're having a great time, but you're actually getting things done. There's no more fun way to get stuff done than that, to me. But
for sure,
that's just not, and of course, you've got some, if you drink, you can have a bottle of wine, or have some, have a beer, or just drink orange juice or whatever you like. And you just can be very comfortable. You can go to the grocery, fill the fridge up with food, and you're just not wanting for anything.
That's
So
right. That's right. I wanted everybody to have the experience they wanted. And if that included a mimosa at 9 in the morning, they could do
right.
that. But I wonder if people, people might want to know, did we go out and party? We didn't.
Like late night party or
Yeah.
like go to dinner? No.
No, we
No,
went to
nobody.
dinner.
No
We-
one.
so, what did we do instead of going bar hopping?
Well, Jen, we came back to the loft and we did this thing I had done at a party, which is where you read what are called dad jokes, which are just really bad puns, like pun jokes, um, to each other, and see who can keep a straight face longer. So you pair off one on one, and you sort of have a master, like whoever's winning keeps their seat, and then the next people rotate through. And this is more entertaining than it may sound, because when you're watching you're just dying because you're just waiting for somebody to laugh. But it's very hard if you're the person in the seat, because you're really trying to keep your straight face. And I'm not going to say who was the grand champion.
Oh my gosh. Little did I know, y'all. Angela is an actual pro at this, and I'm the one who was bold enough to say, "You're going down." And, and so I challenged Angela. Didn't know that she has worked as a stand-up comedian. So
I warned her. I was like, Jen, you do not want to take me on. I was like, do not. I was like, I'm really good at this. I have an amazing amount of control over my.
well, Angela, how do you know when a dad joke is a dad joke?
When?
When the punchline is apparent.
No. No. Get it? Apparent.
Oh my gosh. They're like, wow, these ladies are winners.
Yeah, they really think they're funny. They think these dad jokes are. So this was perfect for me.
That's good.
But,
That's
and
good.
honestly, I bet most organizers are the same way. We have our life pretty situated. That's
Right.
why we're able to help other people. And
Mhm.
having your life situated means getting enough sleep. And if you're old enough to be an organizer, you probably know that, once your sleep is off, it can take like a day or two to get your stuff back in sync again. So
For sure.
I like keeping my sleep schedule.
Hey, speaking of old, we had a range of ages there. It was not like all only young women, and it was not all
Oh
mature
yeah,
women
that's
either.
true.
It was really a range. So that was, I
Yeah, I
think,
don't
what
remember what the
added
youngest
to,
was, but 20 or
yeah,
late
probably
20s or early
27.
30s,
Yeah.
27 up to
Yeah,
like
27. We had several in the 30s, several in the 40s, and a couple in their 50s. I mean, so
yeah.
it was, and I think that's what added to how strong this event was, is because we were really diverse in terms of where we were in the business and where we are in stages of life. Um, and we're able to share different things about that. Like we had a couple different people that are military spouses, and so they had that in common. So it was an amazing group. So I found out, so because of this first retreat, I found out that I loved doing this more than I could have even imagined. I mean, I personally was, so energized by being with you guys, but then of course, like exhausted at the end, because like you realize how
Yes.
tired you are after, talking and being with people for 3 or 4 days. But before, like when I got home, before, like I walked in the door and I sat down, and on my laptop, I started researching the next time and the next place that we could do this. So it was very clear to me that this this is something that I want to be an ongoing part of my business and of my coaching that I am doing. Um, so for Pro Organizer Studio, um, a core offer that I'm going to be doing from now and into the future, as far as I know, is going to be offering these types of retreats where it's a small group weekend where we're all, having that sort of intimate business plus fun experience. So yes, so this
Yeah.
year, we did that one in February. We have one planned in October, and in the future, just seeing on how it goes, whether we do 2 or maybe even 3 in 2020. But if you're listening and you are interested, I have set up a new page, proorganizerstudio.com/events, where you can log on and you can see some of the pictures from our February retreat, and you can get on a list to get notified about our upcoming retreats. And our next one is happening in Las Vegas.
Vegas,
And that is going to be October 2nd through 6th of this year. So we're taking exactly what worked from Greenville and we added an extra day so that
Yes.
everybody could get that because we knew that we wanted it. And it's going to be incredible. So funny thing is, even though we said we're not much of partiers, Las Vegas, I think will definitely represent an opportunity, one, for people to get cheaper flights from the West Coast. This time, getting to Greenville was tough, but going over to the West Coast will be good for a lot of the community out there. And there'll be a little bit more opportunity for a little more fun than Greenville. I mean,
No way, man.
Greenville is cute, but Vegas, like, you can't beat some of the things that you can do
I,
there.
I have to say, when I said earlier that I'm just saying that when I said earlier that I had traveled all over and I picked Greenville, I had already traveled to Vegas and been to Greenville. I still picked Greenville over Vegas, but I
Well, to
understand a lot of
live,
people.
yeah.
No, to visit. I
Oh,
would
even to
rather
visit?
visit. Yes.
That's
But I
hilarious.
like to go on walks. I like nature. I like hiking. That's my preference, is that type of thing. So that's probably the difference. Some people, I mean, trust me. I mean, I had a girlfriend just recently make a big trip for everybody to go to Vegas. Vegas is the place everybody goes. I'm just personally partial to Greenville, but that's just me.
Well, I hear you. Little known fact, did you know that I got married in Vegas?
No, and nobody know.
I don't think a lot of people know this story. So I'm coming up on my second anniversary this year, and my husband and I, um, we had strong feelings about not doing a big wedding and big logistical headache because I already did that once, and he doesn't like being the center of attention, and so we definitely had plans to elope, and we're like, it was one of those things where I was like, "What if we went to Las Vegas?" And he said, what if we actually did? And I was like, what if I actually was okay with that? But actually, so for my maybe minimalists out there who ever want to get married again, I 100% recommend it because we found the cutest little chapel. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's called littlechapel.com or something like that. Chapel of the Flowers. That was like really modern and really beautiful inside, and it was the perfect sort of small space for two people to get married, and you have the minister and you have the photographer, and it was like awesome because you didn't feel like you were in this empty room where there were supposed to be
Yeah.
100 people and they're like not there. It
Yes.
was so amazing. And people they always kind of like, oh, so did you get married by Elvis? And I said, no, 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 this is actually, it was really classy and very, very special. They made it really, really awesome.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, like I kind of like my heart, I have a special place in my heart for Vegas anyway, but
Oh,
we just love, well, side note, my husband and I love to eat. So
the
we've
buffets.
been
Is it
to
the
the restaurants.
buffets?
We've been to one of the big buffets, but just the restaurants in general and just the people watching, like we really like that.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, this will be like another version of this kind of girls' weekend in my head that I know is just going to be so fabulous. So
Oh,
if you
yeah.
guys are interested, definitely visit the events page on Pro Organizer Studio and sign up on the interest list. Even if Vegas is not your thing or October doesn't work, we will let you know. Like once we know more about what'll happen in 2020, we might do one in Greenville again. And Angela's like nodding her head, please. She loves Greenville.
Yes.
Um, and I really have a vision for traveling more around the country so that people can hopefully
Yeah.
feel like it's close to them at least
I
once
think
in a
that's a
while.
great idea. Yes.
Well,
I think that's a
Angela,
good idea.
thank you so much for coming on to chat about our experience together. You are one of the most entertaining people, and you really have one of the best stories that I've ever heard, which is why, we were so encouraging of you. And I know you're super modest, but we were so encouraging of you to start doing videos so you can tell this story to more people. Um, so tell our listeners, please, where they can find you online, um, on your website, Facebook, YouTube. Give us all the details.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's been my pleasure to be on the show. You are a fantastic host, and you're just as awesome in person as you are on the video. So I hope everybody gets a chance to meet you in person like I have. But the website is angelamarieorganizing.com. just spelled regular, like Angela, organizing.com. And the easiest way is probably just to search Facebook for Angela Marie Organizing, or just go to the links in the website to find everything else. But thank you so much for having me, Jen. It's been just my pleasure to be on the show with you today.
You're welcome. I love supporting you in your dream, and especially with tying together everything that is unique about your past, and your passion for why you're here, and helping you incorporate that into your business, as opposed to, asking you to fit into a cookie cutter idea of what somebody else thinks you should be as a professional organizer.
That's right. Thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome. I'm so proud of you. I just love you.
I love you too, Jen. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, everyone. And we'll talk to you again next time.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Organizers Studio podcast. If you'd like to learn more about time-saving services and resources for professional organizers, visit www.proorganizerstudio.com. And if you'd like to get Jen's roadmap to success for launching and growing your professional organizing business, go straight to www.poroadmap.com.